Trump's first 100 days, a presidency mired in scandals and plummeting public trust. Byline, analysis of a tumultuous return to power. As Donald Trump's second administration crosses the symbolic 100-day milestone, a cascade of controversies, policy failures, and ethical breaches has cemented widespread public disillusionment. Polls reveal historic disapproval, with 45% of Americans grading his performance an F, while his approval ratings hover near record lows at 39 to 42%. This article dissects the scandals and missteps that have defined Trump's chaotic return to power, painting a portrait of a leader increasingly isolated from the electorate he vowed to champion. 1. Plummeting approval, a nation loses faith. Trump's once vaunted political capital has evaporated. Multiple polls highlight a 7 to 9-point drop in approval since February, driven by bipartisan frustration over his handling of the economy, immigration, and foreign policy. Key findings include 55% disapprove of his immigration policies, despite aggressive ICE raids netting 32,809 arrests in 50 days, including wrongful deportations like Maryland resident Kilmar Abrego-Garcia, who courts deemed unlawfully removed. 59% oppose his tariff wars, blamed for market volatility and rising consumer costs, with 64% fearing grocery prices will climb further. Only 39% approve of his economic stewardship, a stark decline from pre-election confidence, as voters blame his policies for stagnation. Even Trump's base shows cracks. 15% of Republicans disapprove of his job performance, while independents reject him by a 58 to 33% margin. 2. Policy chaos and constitutional clashes. Trump's administration has prioritized radical executive actions over consensus building, sparking legal and institutional crises. 137 executive orders signed, targeting everything from transgender military bans to voter registration restrictions, often blocked by courts. Defiance of judicial rulings, including the Supreme Court's order to halt deportations of Venezuelan migrants and facilitate Abrego-Garcia's return. Attacks on academia, such as freezing Harvard's $2.2 billion in federal funds and threatening its tax-exempt status over perceived woke ideology. These actions have drawn accusations of authoritarianism, with 61% of Americans believing Trump exceeds his authority, and 49% arguing he undermines constitutional principles. 3. Diplomatic missteps and global erosion. Trump's foreign policy has been marked by inconsistency and perceived weakness. Ukraine-Russia blunders. After pledging to end the war, in 24 hours, Trump resorted to pleading on social media for Putin to stop missile strikes, a move mocked as impotent. His envoy Steve Witkoff's failed Moscow peace talks coincided with a senior Russian official's assassination, deepening distrust. Trade wars backfire. The Liberation Day tariffs sparked global retaliation, with China imposing 125% duties on U.S. goods. Polls show 59% of Americans view these policies as economically harmful. Erosion of U.S. standing. Half of Americans believe Trump's policies weaken international credibility, compared to 38% who see strength. 4. Ethical scandals and toxic appointments. The administration's personnel choices have amplified its reputation for moral recklessness. Cabinet members accused of sexual misconduct, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, settled assault allegations, and Elon Musk, whose role in Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, coincided with a 71% profit drop at Tesla. Targeting marginalized groups, the Justice Department revived subpoenas against journalists and sought to ban transgender troops, while ICE deported U.S. citizens like a Florida-born toddler, deemed illegal without due process. 5. The backlash, protests, legal challenges, and a resistance revival. Public discontent has erupted into action. Nationwide, hands-off protests against Trump's policies and Elon Musk's DOGE cuts, which crippled agencies like Social Security, leaving citizens on hold for hours. Harvard's lawsuit against the administration, accusing it of unconstitutional overreach. Bipartisan judicial pushback, including a federal judge's condemnation of the administration's bad faith in immigration cases. A presidency adrift. Trump's second-term blueprint, combining unilateralism, ideological vendettas, and disdain for institutional norms, has proven disastrous. With 53% of Americans convinced the country is on the wrong track, his administration faces a crisis of legitimacy. The scandals, policy failures, and ethical lapses detailed here are not mere growing pains but symptoms of a deeper rot. As one voter lamented, the shine has come off. Whether Trump can reverse this trajectory, or cares to, remains an open question. For now, the majority of Americans have rendered their verdict, a failing grade for a president who promised renewal but delivered chaos.